along his back. That is from the summer when he was stranded. About 30% of his body was covered in second and third-degree sunburn scars. It did take about 9 to 10 months to heal fully, but that is the scar that you see along his back. Now, throughout the training session, I'm going to be talking to you all a little bit about why we train our animals, as well as how we train our animals here at the aquarium. We use a form of training called positive reinforcement. Basically, what that means is any desired or correct behavior is reinforced, any undesired behavior is simply ignored. Now, as far as reinforcing a dolphin, what do you guys think is a good reinforcer for a dolphin? You can shout it out. Fish, exactly. So that is what we call primary reinforcement, or any reinforcement that they automatically like without having to be taught to do so.
Yeah.
We also might use what we call secondary reinforcer, and Nicholas was demonstrating that secondary reinforcer by carrying around one of his toys. So secondary reinforcers are anything that's taught or conditioned to be fun or exciting. And that can come in the form of toys like we just saw Nicholas playing with. For Hope, we often use a squirt gun. She's a very big fan of squirt guns. Anybody seen Dolphin Tale 2? You guys see the squirt gun in that movie? That is real life. She does absolutely love her squirt guns. We can also use other things like ice or even Jello. Sugarless, flavorless gelatin is a great form of secondary reinforcers. Now, what you guys are going to be seeing, we all have one of our guest programs going on. So if you guys are here today and interested in being up close and personal with any of our dolphin family, we do offer interactive programs where you are able to start doing what's most important for us here at the aquarium is building those relationships. So, if you guys are interested in starting to build your relationship with our animal family, we do offer up close and personal programs. This is our VIP bottlenose experience where they get to come down and, like I said, start building those relationships with our animal care team as well as our animal family. That's a very big part of our job here, building those relationships. We spend hours a day hanging out with our animal family, whether it be with a training session or simply coming down and just offering ourselves for fun and exciting relationship building sessions. So as we step back up to hang out with the boys, we're going to have Hemingway on this wave platform right here with Heather and Bree. And then once again, Nicholas is going to be over there with Gabby. Now beyond relationship building, we do train our animals for 3 main reasons here at the aquarium. And if you direct your attention over to Nicholas right there, he is going to demonstrate the first one I'm going to talk about. So that behavior that you just saw is one of our exercise behaviors. Out in the wild, dolphins will be swimming pretty large distances for hunting and fishing. Our dolphins do not have to hunt or fish here. Their diet is hand-delivered to their mouth multiple times a day. But we do still want to offer them similar exercise stimulation as they would be getting out in the wild. Now with the front flip that you saw Nicholas do as well as that behavior he just demonstrated, he is exercising the most important muscle that dolphins have, and it goes from behind their dorsal fin all the way to the end of their tail flukes. That's actually the strongest muscle that they have, and that is called his peduncle muscle. It makes it so they're able to swim up to 25 miles an hour and even jump up to 25 feet in the air. Now the second type of training that we do here is for cognitive stimulation, exercising of their brains. Out in the wild, they would be using a variety of different hunting and fishing techniques, but as I said, they do not have to hunt or fish here. Their diet is hand-delivered to their mouth multiple times a day. But we do still want to offer them very similar cognitive stimulation, and we can do that in a variety of different ways. For Hemingway, cognitive stimulation right now is going to look very different than, say, an animal like Nicholas. Hemingway has only been here for less than a year. He's still learning the basics of how to be a dolphin here at the aquarium. That comes in the form of new training. Now, whether that be what you guys are seeing right now, which is him working on physical manipulation or touching, getting comfortable with Heather touching, that's a great form of husbandry training, which I'll get into in just a minute. Or even simply just touching a target pole, which looks like kind of like a giant Q-tip if you direct your attention to the back wall all the way over there. So that's what cognitive stimulation looks like with Hemingway. Now with Nicholas, he is also still learning lots of new behaviors. He's been here for 18 years and he's always learning. But we can also use other types of cognitive games with him to stimulate his brain. Now whether that be mimic games, kind of copycatting, or even something more complex like a match to sample game. So what we can do is we can have 2 different items all the way across the pool. holding with an item that corresponds with it across the pool. So we have lots of different ways that we can offer cognitive stimulation. Now the final type of training that we do here, which I mentioned when we were talking about Hemingway, is that husbandry behavior. And that is the most important type of training that we do here. Unfortunately, ladies, it is not what it sounds like. Please do not leave us your husbands and expect them to come back doing what you need them to do. We do not specialize in that type of training. Husbandry behaviors refers to medical management. I'll come right back to that, but if we just saw what Nick was doing, that's a great demonstration of that mimicry behavior. Now going back to husbandry behaviors, it is a form of medical management. All of our behaviors here at the aquarium are completely voluntary. The animals have the right to say yes or no, so it's our job to make sure that they fully understand the question we are asking. And this is especially important for their husbandry behaviors. We want them to actively participate in their own health care. How many of you guys like to go to the doctor? Not a single hand. Now, what if I told you the next time that you went to the doctor, just for walking in that door, you were going to get $1,000 just handed to you? Anyone more excited? Yeah, that is positive reinforcement at its prime. But it is the same concept here. We want all of their medical behaviors to be fun and exciting and some of their favorite things to participate in. Now, medical behaviors would be what we're working on with Penny, which is just looking over his body, getting comfortable with him being manipulated by the animal care team. Whether that be touching his pec fins, touching his back, just looking him over from rump to tail, or even something more complex. At the start of our session, we saw Gabby ask Nick to chuck or forcefully exhale. So we can ask for that to get a sample from his blowhole. So those are just a few examples of our husbandry training that we do here. Now, I'm sure while you all have been here, you've probably noticed that our animal care team is working very closely with all of our animals here, as well as our animals living on the second floor of our older building. That is because they have all been deemed non-releasable, which means for one reason or another, they are not successful candidates to be released. Cannot go back out to the wild. If they did have the chance to go back out to the wild, we would have a very different type of interaction with them. We would have little to no contact with them at all. The reason for that is we never want a wild animal's natural fear of humans to break down. In the United States, marine mammals are protected under what's called the Marine Mammal Protection Act, and that protects animals like the bottlenose dolphins, sea lions, seals, whales, porpoises, even manatees are protected under that act. Here in the state of Florida, we are home to lots of different marine mammals, and we do take that law very seriously. So, for an example, if you guys are out on a boat and you come across a pod of dolphins, and you decide to follow that pod, causing them to change directions more than twice, that can technically be considered harassment under the Marine Mammal Protection Act, and that can come with several $1,000s worth of fines, as well as up to several years in jail. So by coming here and meeting our animal family the way that you are, not only are you doing it in a fun and exciting and educational way, but you're also doing it in the safest way for their wild counterparts. So we do thank you guys so much for coming in and joining us today. And also, we are a fully functioning non-profit marine animal hospital, which means we would not be able to continue our mission of rescue, rehabilitation, and release without visiting today, as well as continue to offer the utmost care to our resident animals. So, on behalf of myself, the rest of our animal care team, and our animal family, I do want to thank you guys so much for joining us today. If you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask any staff members, volunteers, or interns. We would be more than happy to answer any and all of your questions. Now, I hope you all have a fantastic day here at the aquarium. Bye-bye, everybody.